Hello everyone! So today I thought we would finally do a stitch along or stitch with me. So this is my current progress on Beartown. And as you can see, I added some backstitch over here and I did a little bit in the broom and dustpan as well. I'm trying not to go out where the stitches haven't been done yet. So I only did do ones that are completely surrounded by stitches. Right here I'm just kind of marking where I only did half a stitch, but thankfully that color's right up here, so I can probably start it up here or down here and then go up. But for now my goal is to kind of, I've been working this way, I'm going to work up around this bear. I'm not going to do this bear, but I'm going to work against him, get the puppy done, and get up to like level with the hat. And then I'm going to come over here and work this up, and then I can move up from here. So if you are new and you have not seen this Beartown kit yet, let me pull the photo over for you. Oops, as I knock everything out of place. Here is what Beartown looks like. It is a pretty large, or fairly large, spring kit, as you can see up there. And it is one of my favorites. I am obsessed with these bears, and so I work on him all the time. And today I'm going to be doing these brown symbols up here. And I don't really know what to talk about, so we'll see what happens. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so as you can see here, I did already start my thread, and I zoomed in a little bit to make it easier for you to see my stitches. So I really don't ever know what to talk about, which is honestly why I don't do these videos that often. Though I guess I can just, I don't want to say anything too personal on here. I guess we could maybe, I mean, it is a hobby channel, maybe we could talk about hobbies or something like that. I guess I can talk about something that just bothers me personally. So, as some of you may know, I sell on Etsy. I write crochet patterns and sell them, as well as selling handmade goods and all of that. Let me see. Just trying to make sure that's as zoomed in as it gets. And another thing a lot of us on here like to do is shop on Temu. And I like to shop on Etsy too. I just haven't done it in a while. And so recently, as you may have seen in my last video, I believe it was, I've recently gotten into more crafts, wax sealing in particular. And I started off by buying cheaper supplies from Temu. And, you know, no problem there. It's like $2 per color or something like that, or like up to $5 or $13 per stamp, depending on which ones you buy. And so I've been trying to get myself away from Temu just for a multitude of reasons. And so I decided, hey, I sell on Etsy, why don't I go see what I can find on there? And when I started looking on Etsy, they have pretty much everything I've been seeing on Temu for wax sealing, only they take that $2 bag of colored wax melt beads and they're charging like $10, $11 for it. So a big concern I've been having is that Etsy is essentially turning into drop shipping, and there's really nothing that can be done about it, because in Etsy's guidelines, it's completely okay for you to drop ship or wholesale stuff as long as it's like craft supplies or fully handmade, which these obviously fall under the category of craft supplies. So I really can't say anything about it. But it's just really frustrating because these people aren't working that hard to get their sales. Etsy was created as a handmade platform for people to be able to sell their crafts, or for small businesses to get more recognition. And now Etsy's just allowing people to take these products that aren't even handmade. Mind you, I've even seen fabric bucket hats that you can find on AliExpress for like $2 being sold for $30 on Etsy. And it really just kind of broke my heart to see that. They're selling all the same junk as Amazon and Temu. But part of the reason why I went to Etsy is because I've watched other YouTubers doing wax sealing, and they have like all these beautiful handmade waxes that they're using in their videos. Now, they aren't in the US, so they have different shops available to them. And so that's kind of what I was hoping to find, but instead I just see these people taking advantage of a marketplace that isn't made for them. And it's really frustrating. Like, yes, it may be nice that they're selling craft supplies, but I feel like Etsy should be purely reserved for handmade items or things crafted by small businesses, not stuff shipped from overseas. So I kind of, I guess in my head, have it that my sales have been going down because there's so much cheap crap, excuse my language, on Etsy now that no one wants to shop on there. Thankfully, during the Christmas season, I do get more sales. So for the past 2 months, it's been okay, but still my slowest year by far. It's just, it's really frustrating. And sorry for sighing a lot. That's just kind of going to show how frustrating this is for me. Especially since all of my income that I make comes from Etsy, and my friends are telling me, oh, you should get off Etsy, get your own website, and the thing is, I did that, but I cannot afford $40 a month to be using Shopify, and that's even just using their free layout, so I wasn't even paying for a layout. I just really don't know what to do. And now I got an email last night telling me about, or asking me about my domain, because I do own a .com website domain name, and I haven't used it because I only bought it for Shopify. So I don't know if they're still charging me for that. It's a yearly fee, but definitely the cheapest fee I've ever had to pay. It's anywhere from $1 to $15. I think it's been both at separate years, but I own it. It's under my shop name, and I guess as long as I'm paying for it, no one else can use it. But I don't make enough to afford a $40 website, which is quite frustrating. And also, doing my taxes and balancing my QuickBooks was a lot harder when I had Etsy and Shopify going, because Shopify's didn't integrate automatically the way my Etsy does, and it just really stresses me out and gives me anxiety for things like that. But anyways, I guess this is a segue into me saying, if you like handmade crochet items, I'm planning to restock, I don't know if you'd call them shrugs. I'm going to call them shirtless sleeves, but I think they're called shrugs. I'm going to be restocking some of those. I have some sweaters for sale. I have hats for sale, winter hats with pom-poms for sale, a ton of crochet patterns, and keep in mind my personality and theme through my cross stitches. There is a lot of cutesy stuff on there, but there is some kind of, I guess, more modest things on there as well. I also have some baby clothing and stuff, which I used to sell under the name Onesies until Gerber actually filed a takedown notice against me for using the term onesie. I didn't know they owned that. I'm usually very careful not to sell characters or pattern designs that aren't mine. I try very hard to avoid infringing on copyright and trademark. I know people will, like, I don't know, crochet, what's a good example? They'll crochet like a Pokemon plushie and try to sell it, which, full disclosure, that is completely illegal unless you have a license agreement and paid a large lump of money, I guess, that most small businesses can't afford. You do not have the legal rights to be selling that character. So my rule of thumb is, if you didn't design it 100% on your own, you probably can't sell it. So, I mean, to be fair though, with with crochet patterns, my goodness, you are legally allowed to sell whatever you make from them. So when people that sell crochet patterns say that you can't sell it, unless they trademarked the finished object and its design separately from copywriting the pattern, you have every right to go ahead and sell that regardless of what they say. Now in the crochet community though, it is just kind of a courtesy to not do that, but I do fully allow people to sell their finished items from my patterns because I prefer to sell the patterns than be sitting there making crochet items all day, especially when I'd rather be doing something else like cross stitch or playing with my son and stuff like that. But I have filed takedown notices before. I've even gone after someone on YouTube for trying to give away one of my copyrighted patterns for free. So I do take action against that. So I fully understand the frustrations of people kind of disobeying your wishes or trying to steal your copyrighted designs. What a world. And I'm realizing now, since I'm doing this and I'm a little less distracted than when I do reviews and my fan is off so you don't hear it in the background, I have really, really severe tinnitus. Like, the ringing is so loud. And I recently saw a specialist on YouTube talk about how they've been giving, or they gave hearing aids to someone that had severe tinnitus, and they were able to hear silence. I would kill to have silence because noise is my biggest stressor, if I can speak. But I need my fan on in the background, and I'm pretty sure that's got a lot to do with the damage to my ears. Though I would like to see specialists at some point and maybe see if I can get a more mild hearing aid. My right ear is definitely much worse than my left. My right ear is a deeper ringing, and it's just louder, it's like booming, and then my left ear is just kind of more high-pitched, which is harder for me to notice. So it's not as bad, but it would be nice to kind of get that treated. And I also need to go see a specialist about my stomach soon because I'm pretty sure I've been having some stomach bleeding again. And it's not intestinal because anything coming out of any part of me would have been bright red. So it's definitely happening in my stomach, and I've been really bloated lately too. So those are just some of the things that, you know, really are kind of bothering me. And then there is one other thing that I can talk about. I just don't know how people feel about it because it is a sensitive subject. So I think maybe I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but I'm not against speaking of it with you. So part of why I've been struggling to upload for you guys lately is, so all I'm really going to say is, one morning I was waiting for the bus with my son, and two cars approached me, and they were like, "Is this such and such address?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." And they're like, "Oh, hi, we would like to talk to you about someone." And it's, yeah, they wanted to talk to me about someone. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And it kind of caught me off guard. I just asked that they wait till my son was on the bus and off to school. And then they informed me that it was CPS and a detective. So a CPS agent and a detective. And I was informed of someone having admitted, oh my goodness, if I can get it. Hold on. They admitted during a polygraph test they took, crazy, right? That harm had come to my son. And this was many, many years ago. My son was probably like 2 years old. So this was an old incident, and they were trying to investigate and see, not me, I'm not the one that was being investigated, but they were trying to see if they needed to press charges or what have you. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. It's just had me really messed up. I don't know what to think about things. As someone that is antisocial and has severe anxiety and never leaves the house. This really hit me hard. And I feel like after all the abuse and stalking and harm that has come to me through my life, to hear that something bad happened to my son, even if it was years ago, has really thrown me off and kind of knocked me out of orbit, so to speak. So I feel like a shell of what I used to be. I could tolerate it to an extent, obviously. You know, when you don't leave your house, it obviously brought you great damage. But, like, it broke the last tiny bit of trust and hope I had for mankind, or humankind. And it just really has me stuck and heartbroken. That's my baby, and it just makes me think constantly when I'm trying to sleep at night how he is just so innocent, and he can't speak out and defend himself because of his autism. And it really breaks me up inside to think that he was going or went through that. So we've just been spending, gosh, see how frustrated I am? I can't even speak. We've been spending a lot more time trying to do things together. He's not so cooperative. He does value his independence. And he's very particular about play, and mommy does it wrong. And so he tends to, like, pack his stuff up and go to the other room and like, oh, you're ruining this. But yeah, so that's, simply put, without going too into details, what has been bothering me. And I'm pretty sure the investigation is still going, because they never reached out to me with updates. They never said it was closed. They're just trying to figure out if they're pressing charges or not. But given that it was like one incident, I don't think they will. But I do gotta say, it really caught me off guard. You never expect something like that, especially for something so long ago. But such is life, I suppose. I just have to show him extra hard how much I love him. Can't do this. What is it? Goodness, I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I think right now I'm at 19 minutes 42 seconds without editing, or before editing, I should say. It's not going to be that long once you get to watching it. Anyways, so not tomorrow, and probably not Wednesday, but Thursday? I'm thinking, today's Monday. Yep. So Thursday, I'm going to review for you the other Beartown kit that came in. The one that didn't show up in time for the last review I did of bear kits. Actually, no, I'm not going to review that one then. I have 2 more bear kits coming in as well, so I'll review it when I review those other 2 bear kits once those get here, because those have already shipped and they're brand new. I've never seen these ones anywhere before, and I'm so excited. I think one of them's a partial. Ooh. So I'll review the one that came in late then. So Thursday, I guess I will review 111 count and my 214 counts, because those 3 came in together, and I feel like 3 and 3 is a good split for reviews. Also, I'm very sorry to anyone that is in Canada watching right now. I'm so sorry about your situation with your post. That I would crumple. I would actually crumple. Goodness. But anyways, so since all of this has happened, I've started reevaluating things, and surprisingly, I am in a more positive mood. I am still struggling to find a new place to move and figure out how to afford that. Let me say, the state of Maine is not cheap. It's not cheap anymore, unless you go to like a really unsafe neighborhood, which I'm not willing to do. Just no thank you. I absolutely do not want that. So I do have to still figure out a way to get my own place, which is probably getting my own place and finding a way to get more income where I can't really give my son to anyone, or like there's no one to watch him because of the care he needs. I have to find a different way to make income, maybe find a stay-at-home job and, like, I don't know, customer service, and only work hours when my son is at school. That way he's not interfering, because he is quite loud. When you don't talk, you tend to make up for that silence with screeching, squeaking, and singing. He does a lot of echolalia and stuff. He is pretty cute though. He's been really clingy lately and I'm loving it. I mean, I'm kind of loving it. I don't really love it when I have a sharp needle in my hand. Say if I'm doing maybe an 18 count, I don't necessarily want him jumping and crawling on me and grabbing my face. I just don't want to accidentally stab him. But it's okay. Regardless of all of this, I've somehow, and sorry about all the ums, this is just like a hard thing for me to really vocalize, especially since, again, I'm home by myself most of the time. I'm not necessarily talking out loud or speaking out loud to anyone. But somehow I have been in a pretty decent mood. And I think my little man's been in a pretty good mood too. He's been loud and rowdy since Thanksgiving break. It was too much almost. I got such little sleep. I maybe got 2 hours a night. I was to a point where I felt dead. But that's what happens when you have an autistic child that doesn't speak and also has ADHD. And I also have my own insomnia on top of that, because it takes me about an hour of sitting in quiet before I even begin to get tired, so yikes. We are a team that is set up to fail. But we got this. Alright, give me 1 second. Alright. I wonder, do any of you guys have this Beartown kit? I'm sure it's not called Beartown. I think it's called a bunch of different things. I don't think there's an official name for it. I just call it Beartown. There are a few bear kits I have not collected, such as the one in the bedroom, one of the ones where they're at a table. There's quite a few where they're at a table, but there's one specifically that didn't really appeal to me that much, so I did not buy that. And then I can't remember the other one, but besides that, I've been buying what I can find. I even have a small counted one where there's only 3 of the bears and they're wearing backpacks and there's like little music notes around them. Super cute. And then, let me see, come on. I don't know what's my favorite. I know I accidentally bought a 14 count one, which I already did review if you wanted to go see that. I'm pretty sure all of my, you'll find it either under spring in the title, like the spring brand reviews, or it'll just straight up have a photo of one of the bear kits on the front, and that's how you know that it's the bears. Because I buy them all the time. I love them. So I'm also wondering, not only do any of you have this big one, but do any of you have any of the other ones? How many bear kits do you have? Because I have almost every single one, including some counted ones, which I bought from AliExpress. Because they are absolutely the cutest. And another thing I was wondering is how many of you are in my age range? So I am currently 28. I turned 28 this year in September. Because I like playing Minecraft. I have it on PC and console and my Switch and my DS. I have it everywhere. So I don't know if maybe you're in my age range and you like to play games. Maybe you would like to friend me. I like simple games. I don't play that often because you know, I want to, it's just, I want to, and I keep the pile of my whips right next to my bed, and I see those, and I'm like, ooh, no, I really want to cross stitch. And I end up just doing this all day, which is, you know, it is what it is. It happens. It's fine. But if you happen to like Minecraft or Stardew Valley or maybe Animal Crossing, I like playing all of those games. I also have a Quest 2 and a Quest 1, but I only use the Quest 2 now because they stopped releasing updates for the Quest 1 for games, even though I think it has the far superior lenses for visual aspects. But yeah, if you're in my age range and you like that, go ahead and let me know. My email's in my description box, you know. If you want my friend codes on anything, let me know. Again, I don't play that often. I'm pretty addicted to crafting. But, you know, that's fine, because you'll see when I'm online, so I don't really have to, you know, tell you much. I think I hear a plow or a plane. I can never tell. Alright. Let me know what you guys are stitching on if you are stitching along with me. If you're not, if you're just here to listen, I hope my voice isn't too irritating. I hate listening back to my own voice, but ironically enough, I love watching back my own videos because, you know, I like what I bought and no one else seems to make videos quite the same way as I do. I really do wish people did, because I would absolutely watch every single one of them. It's just not really something that I see happening often. But that's okay, everyone's different. We all have our preferences and whatnot. And, have any of you started Christmas cross stitches? I pulled one out. Oh goodness, okay. Let me see. I pulled one out and started it like 2 days ago, because I completely forgot about it until my mother stopped by and she brought my childhood stocking and ornaments from when I was little, and I realized I don't know what happened to my son's Christmas stocking. I'm sure it's hidden somewhere in a closet. A lot of my stuff that I don't use regularly is packed away in a walk-in closet that is kind of blocked off by my son's bed, because, you know, that's where it fit in the bedroom. Though I'm sure if I rearranged, I could get to it, but the whole room layout would just not function very well if I were to move his bed. He has a giant bed frame, and it kind of looks like one of those mini cabins or shed type bed frames. It's dark gray with a dark brown roof on it. And it has like railings because he does tend to roll out of bed a lot fairly easily. And somehow he still finds a way to roll out of that one tiny hole that he uses to get in and out of the bed. He's a pro at slipping out of bed. Okay. 1 second, I'm struggling. But anyways, it reminded me that I had one of those Joy Sunday stocking cross stitches, which I will show you in just a second because I only got 5 more stitches here to do for this little section. But I worked on it for only 2 days, and I think I got a pretty good amount for just that. It is a 16 count. It's not one of the names, or one of the ones where you can add the name onto it. I didn't like that idea. I also didn't want one that was too childish or one that was like too grown up. I mean, I guess this one is kind of childish, but I really loved the color theme, or color scheme, however you say it. I really enjoyed it. And so I went ahead and climbed on my counters, grabbed my felt cube that I knew it was in. I have 2 felt cubes full of Joy Sundays. So I pulled those down, scurried through them, and found it. Now, I know I'm not going to finish it this year, but I did want to make a good dent on it before the start of next year. And I don't know if I'm going to put it away after the end of December, or if I'm just going to keep it out for the year and work on it when I can. I have kind of reduced the amount that I have in my rotation for what I'm working on, mostly because I want more progress. And I also switched from, so I spin my wheel, and instead of working for that day or even a few hours on that one cross stitch that it shows, sorry, that yawn would not wait. I have decided to work on it 2 to 3 days once my wheel picks it. And I'm only working on this one now because this is the one I already started stitching with you guys on camera. I do have to work on my mother's at some point. I'm getting fairly close to finishing that. It didn't make it in time for her birthday, oops. But I do plan to finish it for Christmas. And also, I'm sorry, because you're like zoomed in on my crusty fingernails. I have eczema, and it's, I don't know if it's healing or getting worse. I mean, it was pretty bad. I don't see the blisters under it anymore, so I think we're in the clear. Let me zoom out a little bit. Cute little ducky. Move this up. Move my table over. And let me show you that Christmas one I'm working on. So right here, this one right here. And I just love how Christmassy this looks. I love the colors. I do gotta say, I'm stitching like down here right now, and the drum is not drumming. It is a rainbow. So, like I said, this is a 16 count, and this is the first 16 count I've really worked on. I started one a long time ago, back when the printed canvases weren't actually washing off, and I did buy replacement fabric for that kit, but I didn't really want to go back and redo my progress, and definitely not at the time as accounted, so I haven't really picked it up since. So this is now the only 16 count I'm working on. And I do plan to sew along the edges when it's done. I'm gonna use a very fine needle to puncture holes along the top. I'm gonna crochet with very fluffy yarn. And then I think once it's all sewn with the fabric backing on, I think I'm gonna hand sew maybe some golden rope around the edge, which I think would be super cute. And there is back stitching in this, but I'm pretty sure this is the high definition printing, because I know when you buy from Needle Kung Fu, who has worked with Joy Sunday in the past, or is Joy Sunday, I honestly don't know anymore. They offer like regular printed canvases and high definition printing, and I believe this one's a high definition because you can see how crisp it is. It could just be because it's also on the 16 count, but my older Joy Sunday canvases I know aren't as clear. But I've debated buying from them before in bulk with my resale license, because I do have one of those. I never use it. I don't know why I was even given one. I guess it just was part of signing up or registering my business, but they gave me a retail license, and that's pretty much all you need to buy from Alibaba. You can buy directly from the Needle Kung Fu manufacturer, their factory on Alibaba. So I've debated doing that before, but I just haven't. But it was fun seeing like videos of how their kits are made and the process and like all the different options, because if you browse on there frequently enough, you can browse without being able to buy in bulk. It's just cheaper when you buy in bulk. What you typically want to do is get a bunch of people that also want some. They can send it to me, like they're funding to me, and then I pay for it with my license, and then I distribute it. That way no one's paying like the full bulk price. You're just paying per product. But you can browse even without the license. And sometimes you'll see kits on there that Joy Sunday hasn't released yet, so you'll see them before they come out, and then you'll also see the kits for cheaper that they have released, but again, sometimes you can't buy them in the general public, so it really depends. Sorry about ranting, but this is what I got done. So I made it to about here on my first day, which is way more than I would ever sit down and stitch. I made it to about here, and then on day 2 I got a good chunk of the drum done. But see what I mean? It's so bright. That's so bright. But I know it's not much, but that's still more than I'd usually get even close to in 2 days on one kit. Especially a 16 count. I'm like, my goodness. But I'm really proud of myself for getting this far even. And I think this is going to be really cute when it's done. Oh my goodness, there's French knot too. I didn't even notice that. And I reviewed this so long ago. I could not tell you which video it is, just that it's one of my first ones. Because I've had this for a while, but there's so much color blocking in it that I just really wanted to pull it out and just kind of get the ball rolling on that. Alright, well thank you guys for stitching with me today, and thank you for listening to my woes and my rants. I know I'll have to go on adventures or something and then come back and tell you guys about that. I don't really have plans to travel. I was kind of debating living with my grandparents once they moved to Connecticut, but at this point in time they're currently trying to live in like a place for the elderly. So I, with my very loud child, would not be welcome there, even though I personally am pretty quiet. My son is not. He's loud. He is a ferocious little beast. The cutest one. So that's kind of out of the options. So I guess I'm staying in Maine. But other than that, that was like the only thing I really had planned. But hopefully we can bring my son to a trampoline park soon. Maybe I'll get some footage of that. He's so handsome. You guys would love seeing the smile on his face when he plays. I also really like the trampolines. I'm really short too, so sometimes if there's like an indoor playground, I fit on them very well. I'm shorter than some of the children that play on those, so I'm allowed to. I'm not gonna break it. Just follow my son, toddle along with him. It's so cute. Alright, well thank you guys for stitching with me today. Don't forget, Thursday I'll be reviewing my 14 counts and 111 count. And I don't know how to describe them. I can't really remember. Oh, no, I remember. They're kind of cutesy. Yeah, it's going to be a cutesy video. They're not super serious. I mean, one of them's kind of... They're beautiful, but the colors say cutesy. So if that's something you are interested in, keep your eye open, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Alright, you guys, have an amazing day. See you later. Bye.